Hello guys, it's Ben from Next Gen Bass here, and we have the Divoom Ditoo right here. Now this isn't the kind of thing that we normally review on the channel or on the website, but the folks from Divoom got in touch and they said, can we send you one of our speakers? So I took a look at it and I thought, you know what, that's quite cool. Yeah, sure, let's have a look at one. So, as I say, this is the Ditoo. So there are a number of products on Divoom's website, but this one, I mean, look at it. Like, the first thing that strikes you about it is just how it looks. I mean, it's incredible. There's like this really chunky retro feel to it. You know, there's a really nice combo in there. The build quality is superb. I mean, you see this, right? I can't flex it. I can't twist it. I can't do anything with it. It looks really nice and it feels solid. I did say to somebody in our group that you could probably kill a man with it if you want, but I don't think that's going to be a box quote, if I'm brutally honest. So, I mean, let's look at the design first off. You've got the screen at the front, which is the first thing really that strikes you. You wouldn't know this was a speaker just looking at it. You've got this little mechanical set of key switches. Now they are mechanical as well. You know, they could have cheaped out and gone with like your typical membrane office style keyboard, but no, they've got proper blue switches in there. I'm not sure on the make of them, but they are really clicky. I mean, if you can hear there that they are really clicky, really nice. And you know, when you hit the power switch, it comes up with this really nice little animation. You can set that manually if you want to as well, but basically the screens that you can go through, we have a clock, which I'm currently using this as a clock on my desk. Occasionally it'll pop up with weather and temperature is weather, Ben. So it'll pop up with the weather, it'll pop up with the date, and a few other things in there as well. And it does have an alarm clock function as well, but you have to set the alarm as your last played music. So if you've got your phone connected to this via Bluetooth, charging overnight, whatever you were playing last when you went to sleep, or the last thing you played the day before, will be the thing that plays on here when you wake up in the morning. Next up, you have like this little light, and if you hold the button there, it will change through, so it'll basically cycle through the colours that you have. And that's the same with anything on these screens. So there's a light, which, you know, I think they've said you can use this for sleep aid. So if you want to set something playing with a nice little low light in there as well, you can do. Next up, you have the hot and favourite channels, or the cool channel, I should say. Basically, what this does is it scrolls through a number of the community artwork that's been voted up on there. Again, this is the cool channel, which is much the same. There's a holiday channel, which kind of rotates through the different holidays throughout the year. So you'll have Christmas, you'll have summer, you'll have Easter, I guess, I don't know. But then you have like they call it like the DJ visualizer, I think it is, or the DJ setting, where basically it'll show you a bunch of cool color effects. And then you have a music visualizer, which again you can sort of go through a number of different styles. I'm trying to find the one that I really like here, which kind of looks a little bit like code from the Matrix. There you go. So that one there is like a code from the Matrix, which again they lengthen and shorten depending on the music that you're playing. And finally, you have your custom screen. So you can set this to anything that you find in the app, as well as designing your own. Now, designing your own is okay, fairly straightforward. You go into the app and then you can design your own picture, or you can draw your own stuff on your phone, which should be, hopefully there's some b-roll going up there now of what that does. But while you're designing it, it does actually pop up on screen as well, so you can see what it looks like while that's being done. So I mean, yeah, let's talk about the screen a little bit, because it is the standout thing on this speaker. It's just a really nice, it's a work of art, really. Each LED is sat behind this little grid, so you have each one cornered off in this little pixel grid, and the pixels themselves, they don't bleed into each other because you've got that solid wall between them, and the diffuser layer on the top of it is really nice, just kind of really smooths it out without compromising the bleed over, so you get these really crisp black lines across it while you also get this really nice glow. The thing that I mentioned in our unboxing video, which you can find about here, I think, says that when you turn it on, you don't realise how alive the screen looks. And I know that sounds really cheesy, but it's just this kind of vibrant and like really nice deep colour that you get in there. So you can set any colour, I think, in the RGB spectrum, so it's a huge number of colours, and you can design your own. So if you you can even take a photo that you've taken and import it in, which is how we got the NGB logo on there. I did try making it from scratch, but I was rubbish, so I didn't bother. But the thing is, with a Bluetooth speaker, the thing that you need to remember, of course, is how does it sound? Now, Bluetooth speakers aren't really my forte. I tend not to use them all that much. We do have a few in the house, but I tend to use AirPlay. So I have a few AirPlay enabled speakers because I'm an iPhone geek, and the AirPlay stuff just works. But I have been testing this out, and I've got to say, I am really impressed with the quality of this speaker. It's not going to replace your stereo system or your Sonos speakers or whatever it is you've got around the house. It's not going to replace that. This is designed for a small room or like a desktop or a bedside table or something like that. And essentially what I've compared it to is one of these. So this is an Amazon Echo Dot. I think this is the 3rd gen. And I've never really liked the sound that I've gotten out of here, even though you can set the EQ on these things. You can manually change that, which you can't do on the Ditoo. That's one slight downside. One thing that I've noticed is that without an EQ setting, you're a bit limited by what your phone can do. So that's the downside, if you like, on the Ditoo. But I much prefer the sound of the Ditoo to the sound of the Echo Dot. So this beats out this, in my opinion. So as I say, I've had it on my desk, I've been listening to podcasts, I've been listening to music, I've just been really enjoying the sound that's coming out of it. It's not too bassy, it's nice and flat across the sort of sonic spectrum, if you like. Maybe could probably do with a little bit in the top end, boosting a little bit. I haven't done any like analysis or anything like that, but it can sometimes get a little bit muddy if you've got loads of vocals going on all at once, but on the whole, thumbs up for that one. Once you're done with the setup of the Ditoo, you can then go into it, you can go into the app, and like I said, you can browse literally thousands of pixel art designs. So it's all 16 by 16, but they do have 32 by 32, 8 by 8, and I think there's some 64 by 64 stuff for there. Like they've got a big frame, like massive frame, which does a similar thing. But overall, it's a really clever app. The community is great on it. I've been through so many different designs over the past week or so since I've had this thing, and there's just loads and loads of creative things that you can put on there. Obviously, we've gone a little bit generic for the purposes of this review. We've got the NGB logo, but there are so many different animations that you can put on there that people have just crafted from scratch. They're just absolutely brilliant. One thing that you can do on the Ditoo as well is play some games. So you can play, I think there's Tetris, there's like a Flappy Bird clone, there is a Breakout clone, there's like a racing game as well, and a couple of other ones. They are quite rudimentary, so they're very like simplistic, but the fact that you can control the things with these little arrow keys, and then you can rotate things in Tetris with the little lever, I think that's quite cool. I must say, anything that can play Tetris on it gets a thumbs up from us for the most part, and this is actually a fairly decent version of a very simplistic Tetris that you can play. One other thing that the Ditoo has is like a menu with a few other options in there. So you can get a timer, you can get a stopwatch, you can get an alarm clock, as I previously mentioned. You can get a decibel meter if that's the kind of thing that you're into. and I think that's mostly it for the tools. However, if you don't want to use this as a Bluetooth speaker and you have a spare micro SD card kicking around, there is on the side a micro SD card slot. Micro SD card slot will recognise whatever music you put in and just play it through there if that's the way you want to play it. It charges via USB-C. You can leave it plugged in if you want to, so that it's a permanently on speaker. I haven't done that. Battery life is pretty good. I've not had any complaints with it so far. But like I said, I've had it for a week. I've had to charge it I think twice, using it quite heavily as a clock for most of it, and then speakers for probably a few hours a day. So yeah, it's got plenty of battery life in it. But one of the coolest things that you can do with the Ditoo is, if you've got it as a desk toy, you can actually pair it to your phone to have notifications on it as well. So things like text messages, WhatsApp, phone calls, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and I think there's a couple of others as well. Basically, they'll show up, like they'll just flash on the screen. Not the message itself, unless you set it to, but like the application will flash on the screen. So if your phone buzzes in your pocket, you're not sure what it is, or if it's on your desk, your Ditoo will just flash up saying, hey, you got a WhatsApp notification. I think that's a pretty cool feature. But overall, I think if you're looking at this as a pure Bluetooth speaker, undoubtedly there'll be better options out there. But I think in terms of a desk toy and something that's just cool, like it's 70 quid, so it's not the cheapest, but like I said, in my opinion, it is better than an Echo Dot. I know that they are about 30 quid, but I think ultimately, if you pay for the extra thing which you get with the screen and the keyboard and everything, I personally think this is worth it. I think it's a really nice little device. I can't really put into words just how impressive this little screen is. It's so cool, and the fact that you can customize it with whatever you like. It's my new desk clock, basically. I'm now getting into the point where I'm hiding my taskbar in Windows, so I'm not looking at my Windows taskbar, so I'm looking at that clock. I'm looking at this little thing because it's so cool, and I just love having it on my desk. So yeah, there is a link in the description, by the way, which will give you a discount if you go to the Ditoo store, or the Divoom store, sorry, and pick one of these up. If you want to, I'd wholeheartedly recommend it. I think they're very cool. And like I said, there's so much customizability you can put on here to truly make it yours. I think that they have them in a range of colours as well. Ours was obviously the white one that they sent through. But yeah, if there's any questions you guys have, please do let me know in the comments. I will answer as many as I possibly can. But for now, take care, and like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. And we'll see you soon. Alright guys, take care. Bye.